What's an industry secret in the field you work in? At Goodwill, 50% of what you donate ends up in the trash. BC, we don't have the space for it, or we just deem it too ugly. Change your dirty furnace filters and clean your AC coils outside. These make up an easy 30% of my calls for no heat cooling. Edit, more attention than I thought. So real quick, you have two coils. Inside and outside. Your furnace filter keeps the inside one clean, so make sure that filter is clean. Outside coil, kill power to the unit. Remove the coil guard and top. Usually 5/16 or 1/4 nut driver and like 20 screws. Don't use high pressure water, simply on a shower setting and hold it a few inches away from the coil. Do from both ways. Button that beauty up and wait for it to dry before turning power back on. Your head pressures are gonna love you. Edit 2. Don't forget to blow your condensate line more than your husband. Prevents water flowing back into the unit from a block. Former Bath and Body Works associate here. The scents they discontinue will come back with a different name and new marketing. They're just recycling the scents. There is way more butter than you think in almost every dish you eat at fancy restaurants. And that is usually the reason you won't see the amount of calories in each dish. Source: 5 years as a chef in Italian cuisine, head chef. 8 years in an Italian kitchen. Used to screen resumes for small companies. Job requirements are more of a wish list situation. Never let some unchecked boxes deter you from applying. You have no idea what the applicant pool is like. The biggest boon, especially at small companies, is someone who legitimately cares. Former aircraft fueler. Don't check your pets in kennels, especially in summer or winter. They are submitted to some very harsh environments. Left on belt loaders in the sweltering heat right next to a running APU that's loud enough to deafen human ears, let alone a dog's. It's terrible. I always feel so sorry for them. American Airlines will destroy your luggage. They get overloaded on carts, fall off on the way to the plane, and are left there to get run over by tankers and, yes, fuelers, and rained on. Then dragged to the edge of the ramp to sit all night while you arrive at your destination and wonder where the hell your bags are. If your departure is delayed, 90% of the time it's us, the fueler. Look out the window to the right side if it's a small plane. Left side if it's a really big plane. If there's a truck sitting under the wing. We're the reason you're late. Sorry. Edit. Look guys. I don't know what it's like for the pets on the flight. I've only seen them countless times left in kennels on belt loaders in the hot sun next to an engine. I was a fueler at DFW International for 6 years. I don't have insider knowledge of the airlines beyond my station. I would advise against checking pets if you can help it. But I don't have any advice beyond that. There are some people in these comments that worked for the airlines and have better knowledge. The cheapest bottle of wine in the restaurant has the biggest markup. Some therapists, counselors are on the wrong side of the couch, so to speak. If you feel your mental health provider is unhinged, they may very well be. If you're someone who purchases bulk nuts, grains, etc., just know that those bins are probably rarely cleaned. And even when they are cleaned, odds are they were just rinsed out, wiped down to look clean. I used to be a bulk buyer at Whole Foods Market, and when I took over, our bulk department had no cleaning logs or sanitizing procedure. The bins had moths, insect colonies and mold in them. Our store was opened nearly 5 years prior. Not an industry I work in per se, but I used to be in a sales role. One of my customers was a milk bottling plant. I was somewhat surprised that they were putting the exact same milk in both organic and non-organic cartons. Turns out all of their milk is organic. But in order to not miss out on the sales of non-organic milk, they just bottle them differently and sell them at different prices. Worked at a department store photography studio owned by a major photography company that you can imagine probably took your school yearbook photos. The company also is partnered with a popular online photo order website. Notice how quickly we write down a price, strike it out, and write a new price as the deal. Yeah, that's pretty much just the price that everyone gets. We aren't doing the math that fast. We have it memorized because almost everyone that comes in has that 40% off coupon. Don't come in without a coupon. There is always a coupon on the website. If you end up paying for sitting fees, it's because you just didn't go on our website. Honestly, don't buy our photos. If you just do the session and say that you'll buy them online later, on said partnered photo order site, it'll be cheaper than if you buy them in store that day. Yes, even when we say Oh, but you won't get this deal online. If you do buy in studio that day, just buy the digital CD of your photos. You get to keep all of them instead of having to pick your favorite 3 to 4 pictures. Oh. And again, it is way cheaper to take that CD to a photo kiosk and have them printed yourself. Please don't spend $400 on a couple photos that you can't legally copy when you could have gotten an $80 CD of all the photos and have the copyright to them. Everything at the Container Store exists and is cheaper at Lowe's. Edit. Even the drop front shoeboxes. https www.lowes.com place shoe box storage organization 4,294,936,624 refinement equals 4,294,611,977. Nobody uses bots to inflate metrics more than the most major players in the entertainment industry. All the numbers are fake, including sales. At Goodwill, we don't clean anything that we sell. And we get some really gross stuff that touches everything else, so next time you buy something from Goodwill, wash it well. The industry-leading software is about at least 10 years old at its core. Amusement park ride operator here. If your kid is crying and you want us to stop the ride, even if we want to, it's not gonna stop immediately. The carousel will spin a few more circles or the ship will swing a few more times before stopping. The only exceptions is the emergency stop, which will absolutely fuck up the ride for a while if we press it. Hence we only use it in actual life-threatening situations. The best thing you can do is try to get your kid to calm down as the ride comes to a stop and no yelling, "Stop the ride," at us does not make it stop any faster. You'd be surprised how willingly someone will do their job and even go above and beyond if you just compliment them for their professionalism, politeness and how they are helping them. Edit. Thank you all. If in doubt, lubricate. I'm a machinist. Healthcare. Homemaker. If your grandparent or parent gets in home care, please know that your family member could live in a cockroach-infested house and not have to move if they didn't want to. It's not up to the company to give your loved ones environmentally safe places to live. It's up to the family. They can certainly try to persuade, but they can't force. Why do I know this? Because I've been to the cockroach-infested house where an 80-year-old woman lives. I have a mentally ill client that put bleach in his dog's water to help with its breath. I have a client who never cleans his cat box. I have a client who has a caved-in ceiling. I've called it in, but there is no help from the company. All they say is, "There's nothing we can do. It's up to the family members." It's a sad thing because there are so many family members and friends who really don't give a shit how some people are living. Sure, they'll visit, but do they clean the litter box? Do they make sure there are no cockroaches? Do they make sure the house is stable and not falling apart? No. They say they care and that they love the person, but they don't care enough to make sure they live in a healthy environment. It really worries me, because if I imagine my own mother having such a deteriorated mind and there were no other family members to help her, she could live in a run-down, cockroach-infested house if she was stubborn enough. It frustrates me, because whereas the client does have rights, should they really have the right to live somewhere where their health could be at risk? Where their caregivers could be at risk as well? Every client thinks architects are unnecessary and they can draw the plans themselves, but they are just too busy. This should be pretty obvious. But for big brand hotels, if you try to sneak above the hotel and call the corporate customer care line to demand compensation, complain. That customer care line will always call the hotel for the full story and not just blindly give compensation. The person on the other end of that toll-free number almost never works directly for the company you're calling. As a software engineer, double your delivery date for a product in anticipation of an over-eager project manager trying to get promoted. Screaming at a customer representative and/or complaining to a manager is likely to not have the desired result. On the other hand, as a previous manager, I have bent over backwards for nice customers, including coming in after hours to accommodate a customer. Be kind and you'll be surprised what perks you may get. Federal HR here. If you put the words from the vacancy announcement about what you need to qualify in your resume, you'll almost always be qualified. We search for those words instead of reading an entire resume. Edit. Let me clarify that we, or at least I do and those I train, will continue to scan the resume for similar experience words and not discount the entire resume immediately. After over 10 years of working for HR, you learn what you're looking for and how to do it. Some are easier than others. I know of some our folks who totally just say non-qual if it's not exact. I'm a teacher. If you as a parent will read with your child often and early, your child will thrive in school. I'm talking daily books read together from newborn to about 3rd grade. Every single day. No teacher can replace that.